Thanks for tuning in to Day in the Life of D&D. On this episode, we're talking about consistent persistence.
That's right. When we both talk about the things that we've been able to accomplish, we can think of nothing that was worth doing that didn't take consistent persistence. It didn't take a lot of time and effort. So throughout this show, we have a couple different clips from each of us that we wanted to share with you.
So we're going to see Drew's story, or hear Drew's story about starting True Form and how it wasn't such an easy process. I'm going to be talking about writing a recipe book, and Drew's got all kinds of flippy things going on too.
I'm going to show you how I've accomplished a long-time dream of being able to do a front flip.
Woo!
Or a front tuck from the gymnastics world.
Oh, that's what it is.
So we hope you get something out of this interview.
Ooh.
We hope you get something out of this show, and we hope that you understand that a lot of times it takes much more time and effort than we realize to be able to accomplish the things that we want to do.
So keep watching to learn more.
Regardless of whether you've been a fan, follower, customer, or even friend, we thought it would be fun to add this little clip and take us down memory lane of how True Form got started. This is a story I like to tell at the beginning of our entrepreneur events to let all entrepreneurs know that we kind of start at the same place with just an idea and a passion and a love to really help people. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this clip of us talking about how we started True Form. I was bounced around. I had the privilege of playing professional baseball. I traveled all over the world, and then I kind of took a break, and I started to run a business. And I was training my athletes. I was training myself. I was training players on my team with programs, nutrition, fitness. So I started to do that in between seasons. And then people started asking more and more questions. I got a couple certifications, and then I started to run my own business. Well, I thought it was a business, but it wasn't much of a business. But I thought I would do fitness classes. I was like, I'm going to run fitness classes. I had no idea how to use Facebook. I had no idea how to market or promote, so I started telling everyone I knew. And I didn't know many people because I was new in town. And I was like, I'm going to run these fitness classes. So I set a date. I'm going to run 3 days a week at the park at Deer Meadow. It was in the summertime, so I was all excited. And actually, let me take a step back real quick. I read this book called Getting Everything You Can Out of Everything You Got by Jay Abraham. You should write that down. That's a great book, especially for beginners. It's about using other people's audiences to help you grow. So I was all inspired. I started knocking on doors. I started trying to connect with other business owners, and nobody answered me. No one answered me. And it's unfortunate now because we're in this town. And I know some of them, and I was brand new, and I was all excited, and they either didn't answer me or they're like, nah, I'm not interested. So I had to run my own business. I had to do my own thing. The gyms wouldn't let me come in and train. The individual practitioners didn't really want to work with me. So I had to start my own business. And so I got all excited, was all inspired by this book. I put up posters. I showed up at the park, all ready to work out. Nobody showed up. Not a single person showed up. That was Monday. I was running 3 classes 3 days a week because I wanted everyone to see these great results. Wednesday showed up. I was all excited. Someone's going to show up. Nobody showed up. It started raining. I'm not making this up. It started raining. So I was sitting on the swing, sitting in the rain, waiting for people to show up. And nobody showed up. And then it was like 10 after, 20 after, and I started getting embarrassed that cars were driving by. And I started getting embarrassed like that people would think that I'm the fitness instructor and no one's showing up. Yeah, so I was like, oh my gosh, gotta get out of here. Friday showed up. No, it wasn't good enough for me. Like Friday, no one showed up. It wasn't good enough for me to fail in that regard. I was very fortunate to work in construction. Nothing wrong with construction. Those are some of the best people I've ever met and worked with. But I didn't want to go back to construction. And I said, I'm not going back. I'm going to make this work. So I started knocking on doors. And I thought if I could get a small business to sign up like 5, 10 people, then I could grow. That's what I started knocking on doors. No, kept knocking on doors. Everyone said no. Finally, one, they're not around. It was Kids Matter. I don't know if you guys remember them. It was a daycare. And finally, Shelly, she was like, okay, we'll do it. And I was like, what? Are you sure? So I was like, wow. So anyways, 10 of them showed up. And then from there, people started seeing us working out. And I had these, it's funny, I had these notes, I had my program written down, and it was raining, it was a rainy summer. My notes are flying all over the place. I was like chasing my notes around, trying to train these people. So embarrassing now, I think. But
it's a good story, right? None of that was fabricated. It actually happened. And I have tons of success stories, but that was the very beginning. That's where I started my business. That was the biggest summer we had. To this day, that was the biggest. We had average about 25 people. We had 30 people coming up to workouts. Went to businesses and I asked them to donate like drinks. We had like a t-shirt night. It was so much fun. And you know what's funny is we can be so creative when we have no money. I had no money. Didn't have a dime. What's that? We had an 80s workout.
That was fun.
Yeah. But I had no marketing money, but I was more creative. I found more things, more ways to expand and reach out and grow. And that was, again, to this day, 8 years in, was our best summer starting. Everyone's like, people aren't going to show up. People aren't going to come work out on Fridays. I was running Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes in the morning, in the evening, Tuesday, Thursday in Disbury. I was running around all crazy. But anyways, that's how I started. And I wanted to share that with you guys because we all started in the same place. We all started with an idea. We all started with no customers. Most of us started with no idea where to go and how to begin, how to start this business. So that's how I'm no different than you guys.
I haven't achieved very many things without being continually persistent. It takes consistent persistence to achieve what you want to achieve. And right now I'm working on a recipe book, something I've always wanted to do, but it takes consistent persistence to get anything done. It's a continual grind. I'm up at 5 a.m. to write, and I want to get up at 5 a.m., but it's what I got to do. I write from 5 till about 7 a.m., and then I get ready to go to work. And then I work and I teach throughout the day, and I get home, and I'm working on True Form stuff. I'm grinding it out, doing it from, the time I get home, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., I'm doing True Form stuff, and doing radio show bookings, and working on our membership program, and then shut it down around 9 o'clock, go to sleep, and wake up at 5 again, do it all over. But that's what it takes. It takes stepping outside of your comfort zone and doing things that you've never done to get what you want.
I've learned so much from teaching myself how to do a front flip or front tuck. I shouldn't say teaching myself. I did have some help with a coach. I think a coach is so valuable in many different ways, but I wanted to show you a clip of what that looks like, but from persistence, from visualization, from being patient, from putting in the time and effort, hours and hours it took. It taught me so much about life and business and many other areas, especially when it comes to continuing on and pushing forward when it's a challenge, when it's a struggle. So I wanted to show you this quick clip of my struggles doing my first flip outside in a sand pit, which was mentally challenging, but it was so cool to be able to make that happen and accomplish that goal.
You chicken down.
Oh.
It takes a lot to run a half marathon or triathlon, and a lot of things happen behind the scenes that aren't really seen out in the front lines. So a lot of people see my pictures go up on Facebook and they hear my stories, and the truth is it didn't start that way, and there was lots of steps leading up to where I am now that might not be so pretty.
Like when you learned how to ride a bike?
When I learned how to ride a bike. I did ride a bike as a child, but it had been years, 10, 12, maybe even 15 years since I'd been on a bike. And a road bike is a lot different than your childhood banana seat bike. So when I was learning for my triathlon, I had to reteach myself how to ride a bike, and with Drew's help, of course.
You're welcome.
Drew was actually holding the seat, if you can imagine this. So we picked up the bike, and I was going to just jump on and go for a spin, and I realized I couldn't get on the bike. It's like, Drew, I can't get on this thing.
So we pulled the bike up to the curb. I held the seat and Dorothy got on. And she's like, don't let go. Don't let go.
I'm like, don't let go. Don't let go. And then I finally started being able to go pedal frontwards. And then I was like, Drew, how do I turn this thing around? It was like, trying to turn it around. And it was much the same with swimming. for the triathlon, I had swam as a kid and I did take swimming lessons, but going into the pool as an adult was totally different, and I had to take adult swimming lessons and teach myself again how to swim. And with running took a lot. I wasn't a natural runner by any means, and when I first started running, I could only run for about 5 minutes. And Drew would help, and Drew came out running with me a few times, and I can remember in the very beginning, I thought something was wrong with me.
Dorothy says, "Oh my gosh, I think I have asthma."
I was getting like these chest pains and I couldn't breathe properly, and this one time I got so frustrated and I said to Drew, "I can't run anymore. I think I have asthma."
I said, "I think you're out of shape."
It sounds ridiculous now, but I wanted to share these stories with you because you have to start somewhere, and it takes the persistence to keep going ahead and keep getting on the bike or keep swimming or keep running to get to your end goal.
So if you don't know, this is my book called Detoxify Yourself, and this is a good little lesson when it comes to persistence. This kind of took forever. It took over a year to actually write and turn into a finished product. So this is Detoxify Yourself. It was actually a bestseller in Calgary. We run detox groups around it, but this took so much time and effort. When I first finished it, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I read that in a couple of days." And I was like, "What do you mean a couple of days? It took me a year to write." But then I realized that it was a compliment, that it's very easy to read and it's very easy to follow, and it talks about all kinds of different ways to detox your body and live a detox-free lifestyle. So another lesson we learned in being persistent, pushing through not only the challenges with getting a book finished and completed, but then you have to market it. so many challenges, but couldn't be more grateful to have it here in physical form, which is much different than an ebook, for example. I like to have something physical that I can hold in my hands and actually see.
Thanks for watching and tuning in to another episode of Day in the Life of D&D.
Yeah, we hope this episode gave you some insights on what it's like to be persistent
And consistent. And consistently persistent.
and push forward towards your goals. And just from the inside out, a lot of times people see the outside and like, "Oh, you guys are good at this or you're good at that." And it really doesn't happen overnight. I can't think of anything that we've done that was worth talking about or accomplishing that didn't take a lot of time and effort or persistence. That's Dorothy's face saying, "What are you talking about?"
I didn't know where he was going with that.
But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. And be sure to subscribe to our channel. You can leave a thumbs up or a little heart. And
We like those.
Comments help as well.
That's right. We'll catch you on the next episode.
See you guys.
Bye.
Who's starting?
I'll start. But how come you only see like, is that okay?
See
Tilt it down. There we go. There. Yeah, I like that better. All right. Thanks for watching D&D. Oh, sorry. I wanted to say thanks for tuning in. D&D Adventures.
We hope.
That's not the title.
Day in the life?
Yeah.
How about you try Day in the life?
Okay. D&D.
Hope I wasn't ready to understand, or were you...
Never done. So I get up.
You stole my quote.
I knew Drew was going to say something.
She stole my quote.